our heritage, our tradition, our future. Today, we become.
In this episode of Mutual and Federal Premier Interschools Rugby, we look ahead to this Saturday's derby between rivals Glenwood High and Maritzburg College, live on SuperSport. Founded at the beginning of the 20th century, Glenwood High School in Durban is one of South Africa's oldest and most acclaimed schools. Although the first team is famously branded as the Green Machine, the school is also well known by its nickname, the Grasshoppers.
You won't find grasshoppers here any longer because they've all been eradicated, but the fields used to be full of the orange and the red and the green grasshoppers. And if you want to find one of those nowadays, you have to go out to Belito, or you have to go out perhaps to Giba Gorge or something like that. And you'll find a couple of them. And so when I'm out riding on a Sunday or a Saturday and I find one, I bring it back to school and I show the boys where the term grasshopper came from, because our rugby jerseys are exactly the same colors as the grasshopper.
Like any big all-boys school, sport is at the heart of this fine institution.
Yes, rugby certainly plays a big role in terms of sport at Glenwood, and I think at a lot of schools in South Africa. It's a hugely popular sport. I have some great memories of playing against different schools, some very strong teams, and particularly of the friendships that you develop in there.
The camaraderie of the boys, the support of the teaching staff, it was phenomenal. I mean, the ethos of the school has probably changed, and for the better. I mean, so much so that I don't have children of my own, but I give a youngster a scholarship to Glenwood, and on his first weekend and his orientation weekend at Glenwood High School, I went home and I told my folks how Glenwood was a good school when I was here, but it's a great school now.
Their rivals on Saturday, Maritzburg College, will bring a tide of red, black and white to the Durban coastline.
A number of close battles over the last couple of years, so this year should be very interesting.
It's just a fantastic day of schoolboy sport, and it's very difficult for other countries to replicate that, and it's special, it's unique here in South Africa.
There will be a special twist to this famous KwaZulu-Natal derby this year, with the match being played at the Shark Tank as a curtain raiser to the massive Super Rugby clash between the Sharks and the Bulls.
The decision comes through working closely with the Sharks, who are very keen to get schoolboy rugby back onto Kings Park.
Playing at Kings Park, I think it's very, very fortunate for all the young players. You know, you never know if you're ever going to play at that stadium again. So I think it's a huge opportunity for the boys. I think it's definitely a leveler.
This year we'll have the rest of the teams playing here at Glenwood, and then the boys will be bussed down to Kings Park, and then they'll go onto the stands. Both schools will go onto the stands, and we'll do war cries and that sort of thing on the stands while the first team plays.
The rivalry between Glenwood and Maritzburg College dates back to 1921, with the schools regularly meeting each other twice a year in home and away fixtures. Glenwood have had the better of College at first team level in recent times, with College's last win in 2010. There have been more than 150 matches between the schools at first team level, but arguably the greatest ever encounter between these sides took place at Goldstones on the 25th of May 2013.
The reunion match of 2013 will probably go down as one of the schoolboy games of the decade.
The setting on Reunion Day in 2013 was something special. There were something like 15 to 20,000 people. People had flown from overseas, from all over the country. That day passed in a blur.
We stood with guys that had flown out from Australia for 2 days to attend this function. So Maritzburg College put on an extremely good event. It was exceptionally well attended by probably the population of Maritzburg.
I must say, college went all out that day. All the old boys were there. It was a great atmosphere, the way school rugby should be.
I don't think I've seen gallstones covered by that many people in my life. I don't think it has ever been that big. It was unreal. It's like being in a professional rugby game.
There was not a single seat nor standing space available. But we stood together in amongst red, black and white, a sea of red, black and white. And it was pretty intimidating to be cheering for the visiting side.
The crowd was unbelievable. There were supporters from both schools. It was our 150th celebration, so the boys really wanted to do well.
We had Craig Jabir, who's happens to be a Maritzburg College old boy and probably the top referee in the world, refereeing the game.
Unfortunately, in the first 15 minutes, we had our star fullback sent off for an illegal tackle. For many in the crowd, that was the end of the game.
So we were down 14 men for the majority of the game. And that was when the college first team pulled together and came out firing.
I mean, they scored with 2 minutes to go and everybody thought that the game was over.
The scrappy ball was picked up by the lock, Vian Jacobs, who was in grade 11 at that time. He gave it off to Darren Goodson, who was the captain last year. He was in grade 11 at the time. And he also, I think, ran over one of the Glenwood players and dotted down. And at that time, we thought college had won the game.
It was probably the best feeling a college boy could ever have. The way we all ran onto the field, shouting, screaming, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it right now.
And all the old boys ran on and I even thought it was over.
And they invaded the field, and Craig Jabir, who was the referee at the time, had to wait for all the boys to leave.
I just went to the boys and said, hey, we need to get this ball back from the kickoff.
In a true never say die attitude, the Glenwood boys came back at them and managed to score a try, and literally with the last move of the game.
And if I remember correctly, Mona Yube scored in the right corner to put us through for a great win. And like I said, it's one of the best matches that I've ever seen at schoolboy level.
I remember when the final whistle went at the game and the whole school just stood up and they screamed and they shouted, and Maritzburg College were expected to win the game. They couldn't believe that we had scored the try.
Nobody was upset by results or anything of the such. It was just a great occasion celebrated by a great match.
And I think although Maritzburg College lost on a huge day like the 150th, they were gentlemen. They clapped the Glenwood boys off the pitch and they showed great sportsmanship and camaraderie. And I think that's the way schoolboy rugby should be played.
"2015 brings a new crop of players and a new coach at Maritzburg College, with former Kersney College coach Francois Libber returning to Goldstones to coach his alma mater.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time at Kersney College. Made a lot of good memories there. But it's always been a real deep desire for me to be the first 15 coach here at Maritzburg College. It's something really special in the sense that I've played here as a player, and now to coach the team, it's a huge honour for me.
He's come in this year and he really has changed a lot of things. He's brought back a lot of the old traditions because he was a first team rugby player here, and I think it was 2000.
We both believe in the same things. We like to put out sides in the Maritzburg College rugby jersey, the red, black and white, that will back down for no one.
Yeah, we've got 3 players back from 2014. The team of 2014 had a great season.
To be a part of that team last year was unreal. They were in a way labelled as the dream team of college. I learned a lot from them as well. A lot of the players were role models to us and they helped us a lot coming into the team last year.
Glenwood had an exceptional year in 2014, winning 14 out of 18 matches. One of the key men returning for duty this year is winger Ulunga Makendi.
The throw in Kobo, who's very elusive. This is a wonderful try for Glenwood. Scored by Mukendi.
I started out here in 2011 as a second former. I first came here as a cricket player, and then when I saw the first team rugby play, I made a decision that I wanted to be there one day, and I just kind of changed and I decided that I'm going to focus on rugby, and my goal was to be there. And Glenwood obviously is one of the schools that gives people a lot of opportunities outside school, so I wanted to grab that with both my hands, and yeah, that's how I got here.
As a school, it's always 50-50. If we play in Durban or in Maritzburg College, I think it's the most games that we field. I think it's between 30-32 games that we play on a Saturday. If we go back first team, it's always been close, and I think in the last 4 years, I think we drew against them twice. So it's always a very, very physical game where both sides just play their hearts out.
College is the hardest game physically that we ever play. Like, we play big schools like from Pretoria and Cape Town, and I think college matches us up physically because it's that pride to fight for that #1 spot in KZN.
We will not back down from anybody, and we are bringing back a lot of the old traditions and that will to win, and the fact that Maritzburg College never gives up.
Kings Park may be the home of the Sharks, but come Saturday, the stands will be packed to the rafters with boys in their blazers. Whether it is the red, black and white of college or the green of Glenwood, the Durban faithful are in for a stirring schoolboy rugby encounter.
I think it's the passion. It's really special. It's unique here in South Africa that you're able to get that many people to come and watch a rugby game. You have 1,000 boys supporting their team and 1,000 boys from the other school supporting their team with their bands, with their mascots. It really is something special.
Today, we stand for all that is, for our heritage, our tradition, our future. Today, we become.
Watch Glenwood versus Maritzburg College in Mutual and Federal Premier Interschools Rugby this Saturday, live on SuperSport.